Hi everyone and welcome back to Helvetic Speerun Marathon Online. I hope you had a great night and today we are going to have a run of Dragon Down of New Riders from Loss. So welcome everyone and enjoy the run.
Hello everybody. I hope you had also a good night or good day, depending where you live. My name is Los. I'm joined for commentary by Steve. Introduce yourself real quick.
Hello, I'm Steve TV Online. I run this on the console, and I run it on the Xbox Series X, which is currently the fastest console, I think.
I think so. It's definitely faster than my Switch runs. So yeah, I will be running Dragon's Dawn of New Rider. I'm running it on PC. PC has quite a few advantages. First, it has really fast loads, and second, thankfully it has a VSync option, and kind of like all games, if you have VSync off, it kind of breaks the game. So we can do some huge skips later on in the run. But I think that's it for the moment. Like, I will start the run then, and we'll go on from there, I guess. So timer starts as soon as the first loading screen is like away. So get ready to start the timer. We'll still do a countdown. It's kind of easy to tell. It's kind of when the dragon stops. So timer should start now.
So, this game is based in the, if you've seen the How to Train Your Dragon series, it's based in this world, but we're actually not playing as Hiccup and Toothless. Instead, you'll see our protagonist coming up here in just a minute, but right now, Toothless and Hiccup are flying above the Haven home here and see a bunch of burning. They don't know why. Then, when they turn to their right, they see this our character just standing there. We don't know who he is. He doesn't know who he is, how he got there, and what happened. So we see a little bit of scribbling in his notebook that he has around his in his hands. So we decide, hey, why don't we name you Scribbler? It's not that great of a story, but that's how it goes. So our main character that we're controlling is Scribbler. Then Hiccup decides, hey, what's that roar? I'm gonna go away. Why don't you watch over that egg that's right there? It must be yours. So he says, while you're at it, to defend yourself, we have two chests here, and they should defend you with both a shield and an axe. And then the dragon egg gets stolen by these characters. Yeah. So our job is to go after them and try and gather up the egg.
It's like the early game storyline, it's something. So yeah, start off, as you can see, we have like different movement options. We can roll, we can like, kind of sprint, and it's absolutely mandatory that you pick the shield here. I think I never used the shield actually in the entire run, but you have to choose it. You can't leave this little like part here if you don't have the axe and the shield.
So, the fastest movement in the game is right here. You'll see him rolling a lot. It's going to be used for one, after you roll, if you hold down the roll button, afterwards, it will cause you to sprint, but we're also going to be using it later on for most of our tricks in the entire game. We'll explain that when it comes up. It's actually really early in the game, and it just continues on from there. And with this skip, it just breaks the game.
It literally does, yeah. I'm gonna pick up here's a potion. I'm gonna pick that up just for safety. Should need it, but good thing about potions is you can just hold down the B button in this case, and it will automatically give me a potion once I need it.
Right away is our first skip in the game. Hopefully he'll get it. What happens here is normally there is a cutscene here where it's a tutorial on how to fight, but you can just skip around the loading zone, causing you to completely skip the tutorial to show you how to fight, and you can just continue on. Normally, you would have to finish that tutorial in order for that barricade that he walked through that was down. That would be up until you finish the tutorial, but you can just walk through that.
Basically, like the default state for all the barriers is on the ground, and they get up every time, like during the cutscene if you step into the trigger. And if you can skip the cutscene or the camera pan, we can also skip that the barrier is up. So that's a hint it's coming up the next like hour-ish.
So for this part of the story, the dragon egg has now hatched, and these guys are like, we're gonna capture this dragon now that he's hatched. Well, I wouldn't do that if I were you, Speerler says, because I'm gonna summon him after you since he's my dragon anyway, and when he actually doesn't know. We also don't know what type of dragon he is. He just looks like a mix of different type of dragons, so we just call him a Chimeragon or Chimeragon. And because of that, we decide to name the dragon Patch, because he's patched together by different dragons. And then after that, we do the bit, in order to become friends with the dragon, the usual touch down the nose, put your hand out, and if it comes to you, then it will become your friend, and that's what we do here. And after that, we're just going to go into another cutscene, and we're going to start breaking the game.
Yeah, the beginning is kind of cutscene heavy, or kind of mesh heavy, but like at this point, it becomes way more gameplay, and getting through the first 5 minutes. After that, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So right here, you're gonna see this terror mail, and this kind of allows for us to go into the state right here that he's moving around. After every terror mail, if you switch between Scribbler and Patch, it allows for you to move in during the cutscenes when you normally wouldn't be able to.
And you saw there, I managed to get to the transition during the cutscene, and I think I skipped a little bit of it, like of the text box, because I loaded a new map.
So with that kind of hints at how we're going to start skipping out part of the game. What's going to happen is we call it role switching. For the loading screens, as you saw, we were able to go around that loading screen for that tutorial area. What we're going to do is we're going to roll, then while we're in the middle of rolling into the cutscene, we're going to switch to the other character. This will allow for us to completely go past the loading zone like we just did right there. So now these fights that we would normally have to take, we no longer have to do. And the barriers that would be blocking aren't there. So coming up right here is a skip that I found by accident. Normally there is a cutscene there telling you exactly how to cut down the tree. And recently during gameplay we had no idea how to actually do it, but during one of my runs I accidentally found out where to actually stand to get that cutscene. And Lost has just been able to perfect it to make it a lot easier.
Basically in this game you need to know where like almost every single trigger is. It's like a lot of memorization, but once you've like done that, it's not that difficult and a super fun run.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite. I didn't start learning this or playing this until last year, and after that it's probably one of my favorite speedruns I've ever done. Because it's super fun, just skipping past all the fights. And plus I really like How to Train Your Dragon series, so it's just, I'm always happy playing the game.
Also you saw me there setting it kinda up at the staircase in front of Astrid. This got Astrid 1 skip. Like, it's also a trigger and this skips a 40-second like cutscene. So I'm really glad I got that first try.
Yeah,
actually it's the first try only.
Yeah, because if you mess that up, then you're watching Astrid for 40 seconds, and that's it's an automatic time loss. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's usually a reset point if you do it, but we've just memorized most of it, so for us it's kind of like a habit for us to know where to roll at that point.
Yeah. Luckily, it's like really easy to remember because often it's like at the beginning of the staircase, in the middle of a bridge, something like this. It's rarely that it's like completely random where you have to roll. Okay.
Yeah, that one's one of the harder. Yeah, that's what I do on that one. Is I take one step back, wait until Patch walks in, and then roll through. I do a little bit of a wait setup for that one, but it is possible to skip past that cutscene right there. Sometimes
here
you
I
can,
did like
you can.
a kind of a backup. Like I mentioned earlier, the gate only gets up during the cutscene. So because we already watched the cutscene, the game sets a flag to don't show this cutscene again. And if you reload the room, you also load the gate at the beginning again. So if you miss the this roll switch, you can just reload the room and you can still skip the fight. And also there was an up warp I did there by switching characters. If you stand on a certain collision, you can get an up or a down warp, and it's really helpful to skip huge portion of the game.
There we go. Cool. That's another one. There's a certain patch of grass there for that roll switch that I look for, because that's where the loading screen is, basically inside of that patch of grass. Yeah, as you can tell, this game is really fast-paced, kind of in a way, with all the role switching and memorization that you have to go through for this one. That's why it's such a fun run to do.
Definitely.
Except for this one, I hate this one. I'm terrible at this.
It's beginning of the stair, roll switch, and you get it.
I just never know where it is for some reason. And then there's one more coming up right here, if we can get it. There we go, you got it. Yeah. It's at the beginning of the area. And if you missed that one, you have to run all the way back or fight the enemies, which...
Yeah. Alright, so this game kinda is like... It has like 3 islands, and at the end of the island you have the ruins every time, which is kind of like a dungeon, and it's more puzzle-based than fight-based. And right now I'm in the first ruin. So there's one item in the whole game, besides the shield and the axe, we actually have to get. And it's located in the ruin. So it's the hammer, and I see no way how we could skip the hammer, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's mandatory because of some puzzles that were later on in the game.
Yeah, just like...
But at the beginning of each one of these areas is just you talking to Astrid, and it just takes forever and it's completely useless. She's just saying, hey, there's a dragon here, it's roaring, why don't you go find what's wrong with it? Yeah. And that's basically every dungeon she does that. So right here, normally this is a huge puzzle-based area. You would want to go to the left, you want to go to the right, you want to go straight to solve all these puzzles. However, we're only going to take the left path here, and the only reason is, like Lost said, was to get the hammer. So right here is going to try and go into the loading zone at the same time as he hits that switch. That way we don't have to watch a small cutscene. It skips that cutscene. And he's going to do the same thing right here. That was really good. And now he's going to go down here and he's going to fight these 2 guys. Hey, we actually get to do a fight and we actually have to complete the fight. It's our first fight in the entire game.
I think it's also the only fight you have to do, which is not a boss fight.
That is well, unless you mess up.
Unless you mess up, yeah.
Ooh. Okay, there we go. And now we're gonna have funny visual glitch. I always like this visual glitch. He's gonna pick up the hammer, then he's gonna warp back to the beginning of the... Oh, man. Normally what would happen is he would warp back to the base like this, and it would go completely black, the screen, because the cutscene is at the back at the chest. So it would show the chest, but it would be black. He'll be getting that again later, hopefully. And now you know that up warp that we did earlier, well, we're going to do it again. And this time, this up warp is actually very important, because normally, like I said, we would be going to the right and up and to solve these puzzles.
So
and that's how you...
skips like half of the ruins here.
Yeah, and you would normally have to go to the right-hand side to lower some barricades down for you to get up there, but if you just up warp, you just skip it.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I do this puzzle a little bit differently than he does it. I bet they're both the same, but it doesn't really It's just solving the puzzle. That's all you really have to do for here.
It's like finding your own way, and then you're probably gonna do it every time.
Yeah.
Like you did it the first time.
Alright,
Also,
so...
we have the choice to go left or right here. We go right because on the left side there's actually a camera pan or like a little cutscene.
And that room is also my Achilles heel in this one because those dragons can just stand in your way and just like you can't get around them.
Yeah.
So this is Air, or we don't know the name yet, but spoiler alert, that's her name. Air. We don't know why she's doing it and why she's bad yet, but Lost knows a little bit more about the story than I do, I think. So, do we know any of the story at this point for Air?
She, like, all those ruins are from a famous guy, and she kind of tries to find something from him, but she hates you. And you also saw she had, like, no arm, or no leg, I don't remember anymore, because she got hurt by a dragon, if I remember correctly. And so she seeking up for revenge. Yeah, she doesn't have a hand.
Yep, and this is Hot Purple. This is our first boss fight, and that poison that's on the top of the dragon's back there is what she's using to control the dragon and make him evil. So our goal is to get rid of that poison that's on the back to put him onto our side. So Hot Purple has 3 phases. And the first phase he's gonna do is just going to be like a normal sort of phase where he has to have the Hot Purple run into this pillar. Then he's gonna come up and he's going to attack Air with stronger attacks. And what he did there is normally Air, after certain attacks, would go into the air like she just did. But if you hit her in the middle of that motion, it will actually stop her from doing it. You'll still hear the sound. But other than that, now we're gonna try and see if we can get a little bit of a glitch here. If this is set up correctly, he's able to, what he can do here is he can completely skip this phase of having the Hot Purple shoot out the fireballs by having him fly up into the air, spin down, and hit the pillar right away, causing us to save a little bit of time off the fire here. Whoa, that was weird. So right here, he's doing a big slam attack that can kill Air in like 2 hits. If you get lucky enough here, you could also make him fly into the air, and do the fireball skip, but it's a lot harder to set up because it's so far away. So we have one more fireball phase here, and then we have one more air fight. And I'm not sure if Lost is going to try it or not, but there is a way to almost instantly kill Air by when Air is throwing those like bombs, those ice bombs and stuff like that. If you attack her in the middle of her doing that, you can knock her down to almost no health.
Yeah, it's really precise and kind of scary. If you miss it, you get like frozen, and if you like game over during a boss fight, you're sent back all the way to the beginning of the boss fight. So I decided to play it safe. It's always 2 like barrel bombs she throws, and after that you can stun lock her.
So, as we said before, the terror mails break the game if you switch characters in right after them. So normally you're not supposed to be running around here at all, being able to do anything. It's just a cutscene of saying, "Wait a second, what's going on with Patch? Wait a second, because he's a chimera, he's growing up faster than he should be normally." So it's just showing, hey, now that he's grown up, he's actually gained this extra power of electricity as well now. So after each boss, he's going to gain a new power. And one of our favorite glitches, right here, normally Scribbler is supposed to be in the back of Patch, but since we're able to control him during this cutscene, you just can do crazy stuff like this.
It's completely useless, but kind of mandatory. If you don't do it, your run is not valid.
Yeah. Alright, and then after each area, we have to head back to Havenholm. And just do a small cutscene with the group back at Havenholm.
Whoa! Yeah!
Alright. So,
Probably my favorite area, Walker's Mountain.
yeah, it's my favorite too, just because of some of the skips that are in there are pretty hilarious if you get them. To me, they're like the most broken skip and one of the first skips, right? One of the first skips you found is also in Valka. So this is just a mashing dialogue box. They're saying, "Oh, well, here's Air. Where's Air going next?" We don't really know why she's doing all this. We still don't know much about her. We just know that she's evil, and we need to stop her from controlling all of the other dragons. Like I said, it's not a very in-depth story. If you wanted it for the story, I'm sorry.
And actually, we quickly saw like a feature we're not gonna use in the speedrun here at all. But you can upgrade your weapons and get some more health and stuff like that, but it's completely skipped in the speedrun.
So right there, what he did was skip a couple of dialogue boxes where you're not supposed to be able to move, but as long as you know when the dialogue box is going to end with Astrid there, you can hold the fly away button, which would be, well, it looked like the Y button, and it allows for you to return and go... Oh, you are going the right way, okay. It allows for you to skip having to skip through like 4 text boxes without being able to move. So you're gonna see him fly close to the ground. There isn't really anything special about it. We think it goes faster, but we're not sure. But it also just looks cooler than just flying through the air. And some of the button mashing that you saw him go through in the game was actually just them telling you how to fly through the air. There wasn't really anything special. But Valka's Mountain, if you know the actual How to Train Your Dragon series, you know who Valka is and what these mountains are.
Right. Coming up is Astrid 2 skip. Like in every island there's like an Astrid skip. This one is kind of big one, it saves like 40 seconds to a minute. And it skips an item actually, so got it.
Cool, you got it. Oh man.
Okay, yeah.
You can still move here though. I found out you can still move and get all the way over to the other one.
After the...
Yep, right here.
Yeah.
So this, even though he still ended up getting Astrid, he can still head over to the next area since he knows where it's going to be because of the Terramero glitch. So right now he's trying to find a specific puzzle. I don't know if you end up solving the puzzle. Do you soft lock? Have you ever?
Don't know when I missed that skip last time, but you can see what you would skip if you got it. It's kind of like, it looks like... I'm in a completely wrong spot. It looks like you're doing nothing with the roll skips, but that would be an example of something you would skip if you got it correctly.
Yeah.
And I also got an item because of that cutscene. I got the horn, which you normally would skip.
Right, yeah, and the horn, what it does is all the dragons that you would capture normally, it allows for you to summon them into battle and help you attack. So one thing about these roll switches is if you hear the enemies go there, then you usually know that you've gotten the skip correctly. That's the one sign where you're just like, I'm not sure if I got it. If you hear them say there, then you know you've got it. So one of the easiest out of bounds tricks right there, you just step over the ice. That's the snow mound that's right there, and it allows for you to completely skip a whole entire puzzle and get to the very end of it.
Basically this like metal block is like blocking your way to the final switch you have to activate, but you can just roll kind of over it.
And then sometimes if you're lucky enough, I try and get it every time. If you switch to Patch or Scribbler fast enough, you're able to completely start moving before you get the chance to see him. So right here is another out of bounds trick. This is a little bit more, yeah, nice. It's a little bit more sensitive. It's kind of tricky, but there's also a funny story Lost told me about that trick. He was doing some runs of the game, and one of the developers came in while he did that trick.
Yeah.
I don't remember what reaction he said, but
He was like, no way, you just did that. Because there's actually a mini-boss fight you have to do. There's like a dragon you have to fight in the meantime, like on the lower end of the screen, and you skip like the whole mini-boss fight. Another up war we did here.
so right there is one of the things that is kind of terrible. I hate that area. Sometimes you can get past that area without getting captured, but most of the time you will end up getting captured there with Scribbler getting caught in the net. And another special thing about that skip that we just saw also was normally you would have to do that fight, but they left just enough gap behind the barrier that you're able to walk around it completely. So coming up right here is the first PC exclusive trick with turning off having VSync. So all you have to do is just stand right in this corner, have your other partner go through and push them through. That completely skips having to go up an area up at the top and watch a cutscene of you all these moving back, which I'm not able to do on the Xbox.
To answer your question, Frost, sadly I think that's a really missed opportunity, but you can't do co-op in this game. It would be so amazing. Like as a casual game, if you could like split it up so somebody is Patch, the other one would be Scribbler. So you can't do 1P2C or anything like that.
Look, here's another skip. We're just going to we're going to be doing that again later on, but as Patch next time. And that's actually coming up right here. So what he's going to do is he's just going to roll off the edge, and he's going to switch at the right time, which is going to cause him to upwarp it back onto the ledge. That's the more difficult one. The second one is.
Okay, second
There
try,
we
I
go.
like that.
Yep. All right, and this has recently become the bane of my existence. That is actually his first skip he found in the game, and how to do roll switching. Ooh, that's not good for. Yeah. So we were saying he has to be careful because if you see the hearts up at the top, at the top left of the screen, and if Patch or Scribbler end up losing all of those hearts, then you have to go back and revive them. So you have to watch out and make sure they're not getting attacked a lot while you're going through this.
Luckily I have a backup potion here still. So what I can do is hold down the B button and revive them like that.
The only screen, basically the only screen in Valka's Mountain that you cannot do a skip in. You have to solve that normally.
The only way we need to do, like the only thing we would need for this to skip it would be to get onto the water there, and then we could skip the entire room as well.
Alright. So now we have I think I'm a room. No, this is the right room. Okay. So here is the biggest skip in the entire thing. They do this zooming around, and it shows you what direction you're supposed to go throughout the puzzle. You're supposed to bring this bridge back and forth and fit it in between stuff. However, you can just walk off the edge, roll to the final solution to the puzzle, and you have completed the entire puzzle.
This puzzle takes like 2 to 3 minutes normally, even if you're fast.
So we have one more little tiny skip right here. There, we got it. All it is skipping a little cutscene that is showing a dragon flying underneath, I believe, underneath the bridge.
Yeah, it's
And so,
not a big cutscene, but still nice to have.
yeah. Just those small ones all add up.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are onto the Valka Mountain ruins. These are some of the easier ones. It's just a lot of back and forth in this one, it seems like.
It is, and it's really taunting because you have again a left and a right side path you have to take, and the final like area from the left and right side areas all the way at the beginning, but we can't access them early. And I tried forever. And
So,
if you could get on top of this like ice field on the right, it would be so amazing.
so right here is a new skip that Loss found recently when he was testing out stuff and derusting, if he can get it. Oh, there he goes. I've never done it before because I never knew about it. So that skipped that very top area with having to go and fight a bunch of different of those flying dragons up top. He just clipped through the floor and was able to go to the next area. And that saves, if you get it like really fast, it saves probably 30-40 seconds. Right here, normally you would have to hit the switch over to the side that have Scribbler stand on it, and then roll all the way past it, hit the switch, and then come back. However, Lost found that new area as well. You can walk around the gates there and hit the switch through the gate, then roll back off and land over there. Let's see if you got it. Okay, cool. You got that first cycle.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's
so a small like fade out abuse. Standing on top there, we intentionally faded out, which put us at the beginning of the room, and which is really nice because it saves us backtracking like 2 rooms.
Yeah, there's, like I said, there's a lot going on in this game. To try and explain it, like we're explaining like one thing as we're doing like 2 other tricks in this game, so... But we're super happy that we're finally able to show this game off. Because we've been working very hard, as you can tell, we've been working very hard to get this all done. And, Lost did it when the game first came out, I believe.
Yep.
Started speedrunning it, and then I started speedrunning it more, so got him wanting to run it even more and get more tricks. So this is the first this is the first marathon showing for this game, and we're super excited.
Yeah, it's a really cool game. Like, it's amazing. It's super fun to run.
And if you're interested, we actually just made a
Discord.
Discord for the game, and we have no 100% runners, and if we get runners in, we would like to start getting a 100% route started.
So on the left side here of this ruin, you have to hit those 2 statues. And another thing I did already a couple of times is, if I'm not in the beginning section of the ruin, I can actually warp back to the first room. And I'm doing that all the time, so I don't have to backtrack that much.
So right here is just going normally through the level, which is very strange from what we've been doing throughout the entire game. We have to go and we have to hit this. Is very tricky to hit from that little section there. And then we're gonna run down, and I have to remember what we're doing here. Once I get into the area, okay, so we're gonna hit a couple more blocks like we did on the right hand side. And this is where he's gonna have one of those... Oh, no, it's not in here, never mind. So we're going to just knock that down, get as close as we can to the door, and then we're gonna warp back to the beginning once again.
And since I'm technically in the first room, I have to leave this area to warp back to the first room.
So now he's gonna finish up this last area, since he warped back to the very beginning, and I've never seen this route before, so it's a different type of route that I've never seen. So now he has... I just hit that the first time I go through. I run all the way down the stairs and just finish it up, and then run all the way across. So right here, there's one skip. It's just one of those small skips. Okay, that's good. It's just another one of those like flyover or roar, I think. And then we get another asteroid. Oh no, this dragon is hurt. I'll stay here while you go and attack the next enemy.
I stay here and you do all the hard work, basically.
Yep. And this is... Oh, I can't remember the name of this one. Gore Gutter. This is the... Oh no, this isn't the Gore Gutter. This is Storm Cutter.
Yeah, this is Storm Cutter, yeah. I just checked if I can buy another potion. Because you can... Every time you see Astrid, you can actually buy stuff from her. And this is, in my opinion, the hardest fight of the
Yes,
game.
this is definitely... This is, for me... Once I get to this boss, I've died so many times to this boss on good paces. This is like the death point in the run, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
once I get past this boss, I can like breathe a sigh of relief because everything after this is much simpler than this
Yeah.
boss.
And this boss is like 5-ish minutes, and if you died final phase, you have to do everything again.
Alright, so there's a lot going on in this boss fight. So the first thing right here is they're going to be coming down, and it's going to be shooting one laser, and you just have to dodge out of the way. It'll go back and forth three
times, I think.
Three times. And then it's going to fly behind the very back, and you have to dodge out of the way of that. And as you see, Loss is hitting those statues on the side. That's the... Ooh, that's the... Yeah. That is the best way... that's the only way that you can hit him when he comes back down. So standing behind that statue is a good way to block it, and then he can stand right here, and if he times this correctly, he can actually hit it a little bit early when it comes down. And then air is going to come down and do an attack, and you want to just try and attack her as quickly as possible to get her phases down. Then
Actually,
we go in.
The attack I did there, I think that's like a debug attack, because it never tells you can do that attack. It's like sprinting and attacking at the same time. You have to keep on pressing the sprint button. It like in the manual, in the setups, like you can set that up to something else, and it almost one KOs the entire, like every enemy. And you can see it was like 3 hits for like the final boss, so
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
a broken attack.
So this phase, as you've already seen, Loss go, you have to just stand behind the icebergs. But the thing with those icebergs, that if you go close to them too fast, then you'll get frozen and slow you down even more, which is very annoying because you have to get to them fast enough. Otherwise, you're basically dead from the fire attacks. So what he's trying to do here is he set it up to... Oh, I've never even thought about it. That's a lot easier. But you can also set up the way that I do it is if you do it correctly, you can make it so that you can get behind... You can make air attack, get aggroed onto Scribbler there, and then you can go up behind her and attack with Patch.
Yeah.
That's another way to do that. So this next phase is the most deadly one. This is where most of
This is where the
the
run
fight...
dies.
Yeah, this is where the run can die. So right here, depending on where you stand and the RNG of the icebergs, you have to stand behind them while you have to figure out the angle at which the fire breath is going to be coming from. So right here, they're on the top, but they're going to shoot down on the bottom. So you have to then dodge it, figuring out which way it's going, while in the middle of rushing to try and get it so nobody else gets hurt throughout that fight.
Like the final phase here.
Yes.
That's the
This
most... Like, that's really bad.
Alright, so we have that. Then he has to move out of the way. Okay, it looks like you're all set.
Yeah, should be good to go.
Okay. Yep, now he just has one more phase of hitting him, and then one more air fight. In this air fight, I've actually died to the final air fight as well. Because
my backup potions were all for this fight, more or less.
Yeah, that's why we make higher estimates because of this fight. So this last... Oh, wow, I've never got that lucky.
That's a
never
really
got
rare
lucky.
pattern.
Yeah.
Normally she blocks and attacks you.
Yeah, most of the time you have to wait for her to just attack you. And once she does the attack one time, you're not really able to attack her again because she'll go through 3 phases of attacking, and then she'll go through a phase of rolling away from you, and then you can finally attack her.
Like I said, if I would have died at the final fight, I had to do the whole fight again, and it's a really long fight.
But that was actually probably that showed off actually a really nice pattern for that entire fight. That was actually a pretty decent fight. So as you see, Patch has now grown up one more time to an adult, and he has now gained fire. And that means that he's getting closer to his elder age, so we're trying to now not only stop air, but also stop Patch from dying.
Yeah.
And then we go into the overworld once again, and we just have to head back to Haven Home to have once again another useless cutscene. And then this is where, since they're so boring, the cutscenes that are here, since we have Terror Mail in this next cutscene, we like to just have a little bit of fun with moving Patch around.
I'd like to see how far we can go.
Yeah, because in the area that you go to in Haven Home here, you're standing in this little circle, but you can walk around over a bridge, and if you get lucky enough, you can see the other dragons right before you lift off. And then another little tiny cutscene right here for no reason.
Whoa!
Oh. Yeah, there isn't really much
going on right now.
Yeah. And then once we get to this is the hardest, in my opinion, the hardest island to to do correctly.
Yeah.
With our yips.
With the roll switching, it's like really like how would I say that? Like if you miss one, it's like extremely costly.
Yes, yeah,
The rooms are like extremely big, and you have to reload the room or fight all the enemies.
Yeah, I mean, the bosses are like the stages are fine. The boss is fine, but now the levels and roll skipping, it gets a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
So now we're heading over to I just drew a blank on what the last area is here. Oh, Bloodbriar. We're heading over to Bloodbriar for the final area. We know that that's where Air is going to be, and this is where we've decided that we've planned that we're going to stop Air. And this cutscene right here is saying, okay, this is it, Patch. There's no turning back. If we go forward now...
Nothing.
Yep. And we found out that Air knows how to stop Patch from actually aging. So that's another reason that we wanted to stop Air at this point.
Whoa!
Alright, so we have one more, well no, this isn't the last one, but we have another, this is Astrid Skip 3. This is another 40-second cutscene, if we miss it, so... This is one of the harder ones to set up.
Like, yeah, to time it properly.
There we go. You got it. Alright, so that skips another just talking sequence with Astrid. And,
Ah.
oh, didn't get that one.
Yeah.
I forget about that.
Like every
Because I
time
gotta-
I try to shoot it in the cutscene, like the thing regrow. So actually here I'm gonna do that.
Oh!
It's
well, that's a
completely
new one.
useless because you have to wait for for Scribbler anyway. But now the AI moves him here, so it's a bit faster.
I never
Apparently it gets stuck there.
I never even do that. Yeah, because this is why that would be useful if Patch could, or Scribbler could just walk through there, because of all those enemies. So right here, normally, since you have the fire now, there's all this fog that's in your way, and you use the fire from Patch here to find your way through the fog, but we already know which way we're supposed to go and where everything is in our pathway, so as long as we know where we're going, we don't need to use the fire. It's kind of funny. I think we barely use the fire after we get the fire.
Don't think I actually use it. Besides, like getting rid of the of the vines. I think that's the only time I actually use it.
Yep, it's super weird. Because they said they give you the fire and then they never set up any puzzles for you to use it for.
Actually, we need it in the final ruins.
Oh, that's right, yeah, in the final ruins. So that's another difficult one. It's on a bridge, but it's like in the middle, and there isn't really that much of a visual cue for you to be able to do that. This is like the only room that you go into a cutscene into a fight, so there's like no way of actually roll switching out of that one.
Yeah, that's why I reloaded the room, because the flag for me watching the cutscene was already met, which means that I actually have to focus.
Yeah.
I think you got it. Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, the flag was set, so I watched the cutscene, and the default position for the barrier or the barricade is at the ground. So by reloading the room, I reload the barrier onto the ground, and I don't have to watch the cutscene again.
Right,
it's like
so
barely faster than actually doing the fight.
in this next area, there's nothing. It's just an actual regular room.
Yeah, it's like no puzzle, nothing.
I honestly don't know why that room is there, because I don't even have Astrid there.
Yeah.
Alright, so this skip, yay. This is a fun one to try and explain. So what we're doing is we're setting up that ice for the sole purpose of... Oh, I never thought about bringing him down early. Alright, so what...
And I'm
yeah,
actually
so what...
going for a V-Sync strat here. I think you never saw that before.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
So what he's doing is he's actually, because if you land in a specific area, I don't even know, because when I originally played this game, I started speedrunning it, so I don't actually know the correct way of doing this area. Oh, did you get it?
Nope, not yet.
Ah. This is new to me too, so using his V-Sync, he's able to skip through all of that, having to go all the way over to the left, and do a little bit more puzzling over to the left in order for that to go away, then you come back. And once again, that's another thing that I cannot do on the Series X, and it's just another time save. Alright.
Another thing you can do actually is, like, you see those like traps at the bottom. With roll switching you can actually also switch over the traps itself, so don't activate it. There would be like arrows flying around here and other stuff, and we can skip all of that. I didn't know that he can fall down there.
That's weird. So right here, you just have to follow you can walk off while it's coming on, so it's just a little bit faster to get in there. And then I'm trying to think. The next area is another No, not another V-Sync area.
It is.
Oh, it is another V-Sync. Okay. So here's another skip here. Yep.
Okay, good.
Cool. You got it.
Also, I'm gonna attack over that little water gap there, because Patch can get over there, and you can see Scribbler is at really, really low health right now. So I can like leave him behind and don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, so right here is another area with normally what you have to do on the Xbox series on the Xbox version, you have to, or console versions in general, you have to go and you have to hit 3 switches in order to remove. Oh, that's not good.
Thank you.
You have to remove or hit 3 switches that get rid of that block that's in the middle there that they showed. But like there's the first one right there which would move some of the stuff, but with the V-Sync it allows for you to...
You only have to move 2.
Yeah, you only have to move 2 of them.
Kinda took a weird path here. Probably because you were talking about removing the other blocks. My head was like, oh, I have to go up there and remove that block as well.
Alright, so now he's got those 2 blocks, and now with the V-Sync he's just able to run over to that last block and just push, clip through, and he actually wants to, he's gonna go through with Patch. Alright. Because the next area we're gonna need Scribbler for anyway, because it's...
You need Scribbler? I do it always with Patch.
Oh, I've never done it with Patch.
Okay.
Oh. Well, I guess you could do it both ways.
Yeah, this is my favorite room. If I don't die.
Yeah, this one's really funny because this is when I was first learning about tricks, so I don't know this actual puzzle.
This puzzle is like a 3-minute long. You have to go around, activate different statues. You can just switch warp.
And that allows for you to get to the very end of the puzzle by just doing 2 of those warps, and you are now to the end of the puzzle that you solved. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, oh, you got it just in time. Oh, you can stand back, didn't realize that too, either. And get them
Also,
together.
like, every time you're rolling, you're actually... Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna revive him. Don't want to use the potion. Come on, Pat. Okay. Every time you roll, you gain iframes. And here is pretty big skip as well. You can line it up with the tree on the right side. Basically, there are like 2 dragon fights you have to do here. And the dragon fights, I skip all of them. They're, I would say, on the longer side of fights. Yeah, you see those 3 orbs and you have to destroy all the orbs. And
they're very, very annoying to fight. You can actually skip that first cutscene there at the very end there by doing a roll. So now we're going into the Bloodbriar runes, and I am not a fan of these, just because of some of the skips that have to be done in this area, and this is more of a technical sort of ruin. And coming up is the last Astro skip in the game, and I'm happy to say that I kind of found an easier setup for this Astrid skip. What he's gonna do, you just stand past that little gap in the floor there and roll, and you should get the skip. Almost.
Oh, super.
So you can actually skip these little tiny areas where they're like, oh, these are blocks. You have to try and figure out how to solve them. Sort of areas. And these puzzles are the most annoying things ever.
They are super annoying. Because you're kind of like on a timer.
Yeah, because the floor will come back, and also the fire will come back on the actual blocks themselves, and if you do either one of them, you will get hurt both ways. But he did get that. That was good. With the lightning, you can hit the switch while the other cutscene is happening.
Oh.
Oh, I hate that one. This is my worst one. So this one is really hard because there's not really a, you know, it's like we know it's like partway up the up the stairs, but not particular as to where it is, and it allows for you to skip completely fighting that that dragon there.
But thankfully I can use like the sprint attack and deal with the dragon really quickly. And you're not supposed to hit this trigger from there.
Yeah. Normally you have to hit another switch that will drop the spikes down, but you can just stand in the corner there, which allows for you to allows for you to just go to the very edge and shoot it with the fire, or not the fire, the lightning. Oh, you don't have to do it a second time. You only have to do it the one.
I was not 100% sure, so I decided just to do it. And here comes.
Yep. Okay, so this is the last VSync clip in the entire game. This completely skips doing a floor in the game.
It saves like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a big skip. So what he did is he activated the fight cutscene there, and since he's not actually down below, he's able to completely skip having to do that fight altogether, walk on those spikes, up warp, and now he's out of this area without having to do, I don't know how long that fight is, probably,
actually,
I've never done
they
that.
have to do this fight. It's like not a mandatory fight, but it works out. Cash was trying to be like going to the top, and there's another block puzzle and like a maze afterwards. So it's like a really handy skip.
So a lot of those cutscenes with the Crimson Gore Gutter there is actually mandatory. You can't skip it. There's no way of roll switching past them either. So we just have to deal with having to do that. And here comes one of the final skips down below. It's been really buggy for both of us recently. Yeah. So what he did is he rolled down below. Oh, you're gonna go in with just one of the health potions?
Yeah, should be fine.
Okay. That skips having to just, I mean, it's not that much of a time waste if he has to run down below, but what he does is he warps down below, and instead of having to run all the way through that maze dodging arrows, he can just walk up to the very end, and it saves like 30 seconds maybe.
Yeah. 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's not that much.
Alright. There's a skip in this boss fight. Sometimes I don't know how to trigger it or how to get it. It's completely random as far as I can tell. But sometimes if you attack, you slowly gain height. And you actually can see in the background that the door to leave this area is open. And sometimes you just gain height and you can go over the boss fight and leave the area. So I'm trying to get it. If I don't get it, I have a backup.
Yes,
if I don't get the backup, I do it casually.
Yeah, if somebody wants to come in and help Loss and I try and figure out how to get that, please. Because, I mean, this isn't super long of a fight. It's a very simple fight for being one of the last fights in the game. But it still would save, like, 2 minutes. Because it's like a 2.5 minute fight if you do it normally. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna bring the block all the way over to the left, and he's gonna go up to the feet of the Gore Gutter. And he's going to do his roll attack that he's not supposed to have. And if, like he said, if he does the attack, yeah, he can't do it now, basically. If he destroys one of those, then he can't do it anymore. So now he's just going to go up to the top, up here, and he's going to aim for the poison on the head of the Gore Gutter itself. This will allow for him to completely skip the rest of the sequence of this fight.
Also in a safe spot here. So that's why I was like confident with only one potion. He can't hit me when I'm standing here.
And when I do this fight, I actually don't go for the 2-minute skip. I actually just go and I hit both the legs and then I get everything else because I didn't realize you could hit the head. It's really
kind of finicky to hit.
Yeah, it's really hard to hit. You can actually hit both of the legs and get the leg sequences done, and then you just have to hit the chains on both sides.
You can hit the legs as well from up here, right?
Yeah. You can get both the legs, and then you just have to run to both sides and get the chains. Right here, it looks like he's trying for both the head and
I'm going for
the foot.
Faster right now.
Yeah. What you would do normally is you would have to wait for each sequence to go down, and then you would go down and hit it like he did down below to try and get the early skip. And then you would hit the chains to hit another part of, or to release the chains to get him out of here. Man.
Now I have the spot at least. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Like 3 or 4 more hits.
Okay, that's 1 foot. And there's the
Like I said,
there's the face.
3 to 4 more hits.
So now with this, the Gore Gunner is going to fly away. Still attached to the chains, I see. And we are going to go to the center and leave. So now we're going into the final area, the final air fight. This can somewhat be troubling if you don't get the right cycles. But
Actually, the game gives you 3 potions here, so
yeah, it's you can also skip this very short cutscene as well. If we were playing casually, we wouldn't really go after, or for an actual speedrun or world record attempt, we wouldn't actually. I grab maybe 2 chests total throughout the
I
entire
grab
run.
1 to 2 as well, yeah.
And this is one of
depending how my health is actually.
yeah, and one of them is usually right before this fight because of how this can be kind of dangerous as well. What's going to happen in this fight is well, first to tell the story, we're trying to convince Air to join our side, and we say, Air, how do we stop him from aging? Well, if I could reverse it at any time I want, but would you want him to stay this old for the rest of his life? Because if we stopped the aging, then he would stay like this. So we decide, well, since we can't really stop his aging, we're just going to have to stop you from doing this to any other dragons. So in this fight, she's going to be throwing these those bombs out, and usually only aims for Scribbler for some reason.
Yeah.
And then we're going to just do our attack that we're not supposed to be having.
So you can clearly see that like this attack is super overpowered.
Yeah.
So also you can see like rocks are falling onto the ground and they all do damage. So
And that's why it's kind of
best thing in this fight to do is never stop moving.
yeah, and that's the dangerous part of this is I like to have just a little bit of health even with Scribbler at this point, because sometimes she will want to try and attack Scribbler instead of Patch. So as long as you have Scribbler alive, then she will go after him most of the time. So now we've went through 2 phases, and as you see, there isn't really anything different. It's just that she's throwing more bombs this time. And here's the final phase. This is the one where okay, got into the attacking phase. So this is where it can be somewhat dangerous, as you can see. Now he has to wait for her to run away 3 times. Uh-oh. Oh. Okay.
Well,
So, that was very unfortunate because he got hit by a rock when he was attacking air, which caused us to not be able to get the last couple of attacks in. Because this is the end. That was literally the end of the fight. Was that
just
final
2 more
phase?
hits, yeah.
So now that we're done with this, it's only a matter of time that Air gets what she deserves and falls into the fire, into the pits.
And actually, I think my favorite music coming up from the game.
Oh yeah. This
It's
is really
so good.
Yep. But actually, when I first played this game, this is one of the saddest parts because as you can see, Patch is now in a very old phase. He can barely move. We can't go super fast at all, and we're flying towards Havenholm to tell everybody the sad news that we can't stop the aging and that Patch is inevitably just gonna die. I actually cried during this ending when I first played it because you get when you're playing it casually. I kind of got attached to the character, so. But yeah, we just have to fly back to Havenholm, and unfortunately, we can't go any faster than we're at right here.
Actually, I take it back. I think my favorite music is in like the end mesh cutscene where you have the mesh like coming up next.
Yep. So there's supposed to be a sad part coming up, but there's one more terror mail coming up, and it kind of was a little damper on the sad part, but it's kind of funny.
The mood, but
You'll see what we're talking about here in just a second. We finally make it over to Havenholm. Slowly, everybody's waiting for us, and we get a terror mail, and this terror mail that comes in shows a picture, and that picture that is sent over is telling us the final resting place of where most dragons go. So that's where we have to take Patch, and Patch just can't handle any more of the pain and just collapses. And this is why I cried at the very end.
But don't worry, like.
Yeah, don't worry because he's fine. So the time
this is my favorite music.
Yeah, the time will be coming up once the credits show up in this final area. Yeah, this music and this mood is what made me like start crying quite heavily at this part. So Patch is just completely dying, and then we come to find out that all along the egg that we saw at the very beginning and the bright light that we saw at the very beginning was actually just the reborn of Patch once again. And what we find out was that this dragon here, Patch, was actually, if I remember correctly, was it Air's dragon beforehand? And that's what caused all the fire, was this dragon. And he's now just part of our dragon's group.
Get ready on time.
Yeah, it's just a lot of mashing.
Cutscenes or like text boxes, and the camera pans backwards, and then the credits start. Then when you have to stop time.
And there's the funny thing that happens on my screen at the end of this every time now, because I like to do that very weird glitch at the very end with him standing up. It freaks out my game because the whole screen is supposed to be, oh, and time is coming up.
And time.
So it's supposed to be full screen like this. On my screen, it's actually a very small box on the screen, and you can see everybody walking around in the background. But that was Dragons: Dawn of New Riders. Go ahead.
Time was 1:07:48. It's actually a pretty good time.
Yeah, that was really good with some of the newer tricks that
Yeah.
we had.
So yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're, like I said earlier in the run, if you're interested, please join us. Lots and I are really the only two kind of active runners at this point, and this is the first marathon showing, so we're super happy to be showing this off, and we just made a Discord. If you're interested, go on to the speedrun.com page and the Discord should be on there. You can go over to there.
Put it on there, yeah.
Yep, and help us out with. We want to get the routing for 100% started very soon here. But yeah, if you have anything else, Lost.
Thank you for joining me on commentary. It was a blast. You were able to step up when I was still a bit tired, so that's good.
Yep, I'm going to bed after this, and you're just starting your day. So.
Yeah, maybe I go to bed as well for a couple hours. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, thank you with Speedrunners to have me showcasing this game, of course. And I think that's it from my side. I will be back later with actually 2 runs. I will be showcasing or showing Lego Ninjago, which you actually have a developer as commentary, so stay tuned for that run. And I'm also gonna showcase Lego Batman 3, super cool game. Also, attention here, they do a special shout out to Toothless, the guinea pig, which was in their office. Just thought I mentioned it as well. But yeah, that's basically it on my end. Have fun watching Green Snow Dog next.